let's talk about black people in Asian business. I came across this video a couple of weeks ago, and it's a video of a black woman making oxtail pho. She made oxtail pho, not African noodles, not Asian soup with oxtail. Respect, solidarity. A perfect blend between boundaries and mixing of culture. Black people, Asian people. Now let's see what happens when these whites gets their powdery ass hands on our foremost. We got brothy rice. One of these whites' signature moves is that they would take people of color struggle meals and then rebrand it into some white fucking bullshit. Of Asians would eat broth with rice or whatever soup we have with rice because that's literally all we had at the time. Now of course with their full caucasity they would come in and colonize this whole concept and call it brothy rice. In this particular case of colonization, she calls it viral detox brothy rice. Bitch, do you even know what those words means? Now, I really want you guys to notice, these are not even clan level whites and they're already this bad. They're fucking pretentious, they're sanctimonious, and they think they invented all of this shit. Saying shit like one pot, hot pot. Logan, every hot pot is a one pot hot pot. Your brain is smooth as an egg. By the way, why are all the white twinks just straight up evil? Now let's just stop for a second because I want to talk to all the black people that are watching this video. Despite what I've said at the beginning of this video, respect, solidarity, black people, this participation is from your end. I don't think I have to warn you guys at all to be careful around some Asians because sometimes when we participate, we got shit like K-pop. Yuck. Let me put it in a way you guys would understand immediately. A lot of Asians are really comfortable inside the house. There are 3 very big Asian creators on this app, and I'm gonna use these pandering ass pandas to describe to you exactly what I mean. First of all, they are not the new age clan. That would be too simple. As a matter of fact, just like liberal whites, they are exactly what Malcolm X warned us about. You usually would not know that they're dangerous until they do shit like ignore stuff like this, or dogpile on an Asian lady when she's speaking facts. One of these Asian creators behaves exactly like a white woman, crying on camera, manipulating the narrative, tagging and calling the FBI and shit, doxing Asian women.
It is incredibly maddening how expensive oxtail is now in America. A food that was once our comfort food that we would eat all the time to now becoming a once in a while special treat meal. Depends on where you are, it can range from $20 to $40 per pound. And even in Costco, you're buying bulk, you're spending $70 to $80 for a couple pieces of bone. All because oxtail got mainstream. And I remember eating it all the time when I was a kid. My grandparents would cook it. When we go out to eat at Chinese restaurants, we would always order it because it was actually very affordable. Nobody wanted that part of the animal besides the minority community. Am I right? What was once our comfort food, foods that we would eat all the time, is now too expensive to make, at least for the normies. It's crazy how much you need to spend on bone now.
It's called a plantain or plantain if you're from Jamaica. Now this probably is the best carbohydrate.
Hey, listen, that is fake news. Plantain is terrible for you. It's bad for your health. Doesn't even taste nice. So if you see it in the store, avoid it. If you have any and you need to get rid of them, send it to me. I'll make sure that's taken care of.
Honestly, this is what these people do. Take what belongs to black people, rebrand it, and make it look like they are the brain behind it. You see why I am so in full support when black people, black Americans said we need to guide our culture? Because these same people that will come steal everything from you and then rebrand it and make it look like they are the originators are still the same people that will later tag black people as being lazy. They will later tag black people as people that do not know how to do any single thing. That's just the honest truth. We've seen different scenarios. I'm going to be talking about that in the end of this video. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sonia. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. And credits belong to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks, and also joining my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. And guys, With that being said, let's go continue watching this video. I'll be back with commentaries. Let's go watch.
You don't get enough of these in your diet.
This isn't the same as this, and you might think, what the hell are you talking about? This thing right here is called a plantain, or plantain if you're from Jamaica. Now,
I can't.
this probably is the best carbohydrate source in the world. Now, green doesn't even taste like a banana, it tastes like a potato. You got 3 grams of fiber, really good carbs. After about 5 minutes, you are left with possibly the healthiest chip in the entire world.
Wait a damn minute.
White people are eating plantains now. Dear white people, I know you like to listen to your fellow brethren, as you should, want to eat, but I want to share a story about the one time I brought a white friend to Haiti. He ate a plantain and he lost his eyesight temporarily. I think plantains are poisonous to certain people, and I'm not sure if your body has to build up like some immunity or like some, some response to it. Another one of my friends brought a friend, she was from Ohio. Her hair started falling out. Another friend was profusely vomiting. So I don't know if plantains are exactly what you guys should be preparing. I know they started selling them at your local grocery stores, but that's why the price has gone up. And I think oxtail too are too fatty for your delectable bodies. You guys have always had good cuts of meat. So I think you should leave that to the people who naturally are supposed to eat it. This is just what I'm sharing with you. You don't have to believe me, but I think plantains are poisonous to you guys, and I think you should stay far, far, far away. Because who wants to lose their eyesight, go dizzy, vomit, or lose their hair? I think we're fine to eat it, but hey, eat at your own risk. Eat at your own risk.
Cultural foods, I think they are going to gentrify part 2. Pandan. And if you don't know what that is, Google it. I already look at baked goods, and if it's green, I automatically already think it's that. But most of the time it's matcha, but I fear that's going to be next. Next, sweet tea. And I'm not talking about like the sweet tea you get from McDonald's. No, I mean like the sweet tea that's made in the South with like half a pound of sugar. I personally don't like it. However, I can see with the rise of people liking like Southern culture and things now, yeah, that's going to be next. Another one that has to do with the South, fried okra, or anything to do with okra. You're already actually seeing them putting okra in the water. They just don't know how to actually eat okra yet. So in like an American way, because they put it in the water, or they put it in like, what's it called? What's the African dish called that's really good food? Like not the fufu, but I forget what it's called, but you know what I'm talking about. They don't know about fried okra though, or pickled okra, or none of that other stuff. So I feel like that's on the roster. And last but not least, once again, I said in the last video, they're going to start putting stuff back in the Jell-O. They are going to start putting stuff back in the Jell-O. If you don't know what that is, Google 1950s housewife recipes. They're going to start putting stuff back in the Jell-O.
So during slavery, we all are aware that slaves were basically fed the scraps of food. And there's one bit of food that I actually want to focus on, because even in today's society, this particular animal is not considered the cleanliest, right? And so the main bit of meat that a lot of slaves were fed was pork. Interestingly enough, pork even today, and pigs even today, are considered to not be some of the cleanliest animals. You have the no pork on my fork situation. And you have those that just genuinely do not eat pork. It could be due to the way that they are farmed or raised. It could be because it's just not your preference. It could be due to religious reasons. Either way, pork has always been controversial. But I wanted to come and talk to you about food gentrification, specifically when it comes down to pork. Interestingly enough, you can tell probably by the accent in my voice and some other things that I might be a bit of a country bumpkin. I'm originally from Indiana. A lot of my family migrated north, and they're originally from the South. That's Arkansas, that's Mississippi, that's Alabama, things of that nature. So me, there is pork on my fork. Please don't cancel me. It's okay if you don't want to eat it. I won't force you to. However, what led me to wanting to be able to talk about food gentrification today is the fact that it's starting to get cold outside. And because it's beginning to get cold outside, there's things that I like to eat, northern beans with ham hocks, turkey necks, as well as like neck bones, stuff like that. Yes, I eat that, okay? It's starting to get cool outside. It's the fall time. It's time for me to start making them one-pot meals. And crazy enough, one-pot meals is something that was invented by slaves, partially because slaves only had one pot, one lid, one spoon. And so everything had to go into the pot. This is where we come up with some of our great soul food dishes, where once again, you have black-eyed peas and some type of meat. Typically, it was pork. So what is food gentrification? Food gentrification is defined as the process where the culinary and retail food environment of neighborhoods undergo upscaling and reinvention, okay? Displacing longtime residents and cultural important foodways. But what does food gentrification involve? And this is very important because whether or not your neighborhoods are being gentrified, it still doesn't mean that your grocery stores aren't being gentrified. So it involves the commercial appropriation and popularization of traditionally ethnic foods by wealthier, often white demographic, transforming affordable sustenance into high-priced, trendy items. Now, you may say, Tori, why are you coming here to come and talk about all these things? We know that these things exist. Well, it's because, as I told you, it's starting to get cool outside. So I went to the grocery store yesterday. Yes, yesterday. And I went to go and pick up neck bones. Neck bones is pork, for those that do not know. But neck bones also go inside of my pot of butter beans. Butter beans, northern beans, whatever you call them. It goes in that pot. So I had to go pick some up. I was trying to figure out, do I want them already smoked or do I want to cook them from their raw state? Either way, went to my local grocery store, went to go pick some up, and I was aghast. Why? Because a family size container of raw neck bones cost $12. I was shook up, run amok. And the reason why is because just 7 years ago, that same container of neck bones was $5. Why would it be $5? It's the scraps. It's stuff that typically only black people use or internationals, those from other countries. They tend to use them in their dishes. But do you know who was not using it? Wealthier white people. Now, I don't know who talked to whom. I don't know which TikToker. I don't know who is involved in the chicanery that has caused for the gentrification of not only neck bones, but ham hocks. Because I also took a look at the ham hocks. Yes, I did. Because if I can't have one part of the pig, I'm going to have the other. Either way, one of those need to be inside my pot. Now, if you're somebody, you're like, Tori, I don't eat, pork or whatever, but you want to come over and have one of these precious meals of mine, I'll put turkey necks in there instead. Yes, I do know multiple ways to be able to, get the job done with a good meal. But my point is the fact that even within our grocery stores, regardless of wherever you're located, if a white demographic somehow becomes interested in your cultural food, the cost of your food goes up exponentially for a few different reasons. Number one, in this capitalist society, there is more worth attributed to things that white people are interested in. And no, I won't be explaining any further. Thing number two is the fact that the average white person, like their household, earns more income. And because they earn more income, it means that they are willing to spend more money on the same necessity that everybody else is not willing to spend more money on. And that's just because they have access to more money. So because of that, right, you have these companies, you have these food systems that know, we have a different kind of buyer now who's willing to spend more money. So that means that we can increase the price and they'll still buy it. We're still making more of a profit. And we know that those people that are used to buying this, because it is a part of their cultural habit, this is their regular food selection, will be forced to have to either pay the price or have to change their eating habits or not have it until it's no longer popular. Either way, whoever you are that have told wealthy, non-people of color, non-black people about ham hocks and neck bones, stop. I need you to stop. I need you to stop, because I just got done from buying 4 smoked ham hocks for $8, not including tax. I'm not happy about it, because those same hocks not too long ago was only $5. That's all I'm.
Majority of the Asian business community is extremely exploitative and racist towards black people.
Okay, let's address this. My initial reaction to this was one of defensiveness and anger, and I'm sure many of you guys felt the same. But we should not disregard some very valid points that this creator makes. We do have a problem with anti-blackness and colorism within our community. We see that with the discord between ethnic groups within our own community, and that translates out to how some of us treat people with darker skin outside of our community as well. Obviously, it's not all of us because we're not a racial monolith, but I have seen it, and I know you have seen it too. I think we tend to tense up when we hear other people calling out our community for racial prejudice. It's natural to feel defensive because the majority of us are not actively trying to hurt other people. But I think we have to understand that as human beings, we all have some sort of racial prejudice towards others. We're born into a racist society. We have had racist stereotypes hammered into us since birth. But we really need to make a good effort to listen, because if we don't listen, we can't be better for our own community and we can't be better allies. I have more to say in part 2.
This is me sending love to the black community because we love you. We love your support. Sending you flowers. Anyways, listen to black people because they've been right since day one. Just saying.
I don't have much to add to this H Mart Gate drama except for this. Black people staying in our business, I like it. Because regardless of what your position is on the whole H Mart, blah, 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 at least you guys are caring. Because at the end of the day, this whole H Mart scandal is about whether or not Asians should be welcoming to white people, and if assimilation or getting the goodwill from white people is the goal. You know who's been staying giving us that goodwill though, via drama and gossip? The black community. And it's making me think about my immigrant mom, who was an engineer for 30 years, worked with a ton of racist people, but she said that one person who just seemed to really understand her was the only black person on the team. And she was like, there's just something that like we just get about each other. And also I think she thinks I'm cute. And that has never left me. I always think about that. So thank you for having our backs, black community. May we return the favor.
Talk about the gentrification of foods in the so-called wellness industry of influencers, because this is not a special red wellness drink. This is sorrel. I'm Trinidadian, and my family, every year we make this drink to celebrate during Christmas time. It is a hibiscus drink that actually has roots being brought from Africa during the transatlantic slave trade, and it has so much history and cultural relevance to our practices as Trinidadians. So for someone like this to frame it as just a wellness drink that's gonna make us smell good is a way for white consumers to really cleanse the cultural aspects of beautiful foods. It's also called Zobo, I think, in Nigerian culture, and it's also found in many different cultures around the world. But I found it very interesting how influencers like this will take something that has so much cultural relevance, relabel it, and reframe it as something that can be profited off of, to be commodified, and to be added to make our lives more beautiful, to make us ourselves more beautiful. And it just really removes all of these special aspects of cultural practices when things like this are relabeled. When I first introduced the drink to my friends, a lot of people were confused about what it was, the hibiscus aspect of it, right? But when you have someone like that who is reframing it as a trendy perfume, it just seems as though things only become profitable and aesthetic and interesting and make sense when it's someone who's not actually part of the community who is speaking of it. I urge influencers to take the time to actually learn about the cultural histories behind the items that they're relabeling as skincare, because that's how we can ensure that influencer culture moves towards cultural appreciation instead of cultural appropriation.
The rich will never accept you, but they can take your food and make it theirs. Many of the dishes we know today as luxurious meals were once poor people food. Let's discuss the process in which survival food loses its context and becomes rebranded as luxury. I grew up in a farmhouse, and every weekend we would go into the farm to pick up hundreds of snails. They were so plentiful that we let the villagers and our neighbors pick them for free. Snails represented an abundant low-barrier source of protein. Cooking and eating them wasn't a culinary discovery, but a practical engagement with our immediate environment. But look at the prices of snails today. They have been discovered. Sourdough was once the only option for people who couldn't afford brewer's yeast. It was survival food. Look at lobster in the 1800s. People who lived on the coast regarded lobsters as the cockroaches of the sea. It was so plentiful and so hated, it was used as fertilizer for crops and food for prisoners. There's a famous legend that indentured servants in Massachusetts had it in their contract that they couldn't be served lobster more than 3 times a week because that was seen as punishment. Lobsters only became a luxury when the railroad served it to inlanders who did not know their reputation. Or look at caviar. In the 19th century, it was a salty snack given away for free in Russian bars just to get people thirsty enough to order more vodka and beer. So how does the price jump come about? After years of eating refined and fancy food, the wealthy might start looking for something with more soul. Sometimes they find it in the kitchens of the poor and discover that the techniques regular people used because they had to, like slow cooking tough pieces of oxtail for 6 hours or fermenting sourdough with wild yeast, could actually have depth and complexity in flavor. Richard Peterson called this being the cultural omnivore. In the old days, rich people only liked classy things. Today, they prove they are cultured by knowing the best of both worlds. And by applying high status techniques to low status ingredients, the elite perform a form of cultural arbitrage, buying low on authenticity and selling high on refinement. This is the gentrification of the palate, a term explored by sociologists like Sharon Zukin. As the ingredients moves from the backyard to the upscale restaurant, the local supply chain shifts to meet the higher price point, and then the grandmother who mastered the recipe out of necessity is eventually excluded from her own tradition by the market forces who celebrated it. The history is co-opted, the survival is commodified, and the price of entry is raised until the originators are left with neither the food nor the credits. The cycle of gentrification is complete. If you'd like to see more of my explorations into food and culture, please follow along and let me know in the comments what's one food that was once cheap but is now expensive in the area.
Anyways, welcome back, guys, and thank you so much for watching to this point. And honestly, as at this point, I'm so exhausted with these people called white people. I'm so exhausted. You understand? Black people, you just need to be guiding every single thing that you have. Like, you have to guide it with your full chest. You have to guide it with every single strength that is left inside of you. If not, let it make sense to me that every single thing that black people have, you want to rebrand it, and then you're going to be giving it like a different name as if you were the creator. Now let's wind back a bit to Mr. Tenderism, where Destination Smokehouse literally was using this man behind the scene, using his recipe and every other things, and coming forth to the public as if he was literally the brain behind everything. Now, only one thing that made us know, where we have this food tester come into Destination Smokehouse to test their tendered meats, like they call it, and at the end of the day, 1 or 2 things led, we now find out that the person that has literally been portraying himself as the owner of the business was literally not the owner of the business. A black man was the brain behind it. A black man was the one behind every single success that he has achieved. And the problem with these people is they're using you to achieve their own success, and they later start looking or making you look like you're not even worth where they are, right? I've also seen a story of a black woman where she literally exposed every single recipe she have as a black American woman to this white woman. Do you know what this white woman did? This white woman did not only pay her T-pence, this white woman did not only strip her off a lot of benefit that she's supposed to get as someone that is the brain behind the restaurant. This white woman took every single recipe, wrote a book, a full book with that recipe, and was making money off this black woman's sweat. So even when this black woman noticed, and the black woman was like, these were my recipes, you should have even take permission. That was the only thing that the black woman needed. You should have at least just take permission. At least before even doing all of that, do you guess what? This white woman sacked this black woman and told her to go, that she never needed her on the job anymore. It simply means she have stolen every single thing that she has, that she wants, and the woman is no longer useful. So these are scenarios of a lot of things that we've been seeing. So when black people, people of color, decide to share their recipe, you have to look out there, because these people who can do anything, I can tell you for a whole fact, they can literally do any single thing. And that's why I appreciate so much a lot of black Americans that are saying we need to keep our culture, we need to keep our recipe, we need to keep a lot of things. We've also seen a lot of scenarios where this black woman started creating this book trademark, and before you know, another white woman started copying the exact book trademark, to the point that you have to come visit this black woman as if she wanted to purchase something, she wanted to purchase the book, stole every single strategy and invented it on her own end. It's just a whole lot to deal with them. Honestly, right from their day one, this is what they literally know how to do. They don't know how to create, they know how to take. Their own is to take, and they will take without giving credit. That is the annoying part of everything. Taking is not the problem, but when you are taking, can you please give credit to the owners of the video? Can you please give credit to the owners that invented it? Just like these videos and some clips that I literally stitch. I cannot just stitch this clip and then claim that all of those clips are my clips. No, I have to give credit to the original creators of every single clips and stitches that I use, because were not my property. So I don't know why it's so difficult for some of them to understand. It's just because they are used to the habit of taking. And taking without permission, taking without feeling anything, that there's nothing bad. They can literally just take and nobody can do anything about it. I think the more these people, the more we start suing some of them for defamation of character, the more we start suing them for stealing, the more we start suing them, I think it's going to be a good deal for us. But anyways, let me know what you think in the comment section, especially as a black person watching. Have you come across any sort of situations like this? I want to really get your opinion in the comment section. And I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks, and also joining my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. And thank you so much for staying stick and hook with me to the end of this video. Yeah, with that being said, with no further ado, I do like I always say in my videos, I'm going to be saying bye, and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys. Mwah.